Rev up your engines! Today I'm going to show you how you can find oil leaks on any vehicle. Now, it used to be a pain in the butt. You'd have to get your pressure washer and start it up. Then once it was clean, you'd drive it and you'd see where the oil was coming from. Well, one, it's time consuming, and two, modern cars have lots of electronics. You get that high pressure water, you can destroy computer systems, sensors. It's best not to have to deal with that nonsense in the first place. Hence, UV leak dye. Now, as you can see here, it's for oil-based systems. Oil, fuel, ATF, and power steering. Using a UV like this, I like the battery-powered ones. You don't have to worry about cords or anything. And wearing these funky yellow sunglasses. It makes the dye stand out more. Now, the only guesswork involved in the beginning is what oil is leaking, because you got to decide where you're going to put the dye. You don't want to put the dye in everything because then you won't know what's leaking. So in this case, we're going to start with the engine oil. So we'll go to the engine oil cap, take the oil cap off, and then pour the bottle of the ultraviolet leak dye into the engine. Put the whole bottle in. Then we'll put the cap back on and let it run 15-20 minutes. That gives it time to circulate, and if it's a hard to find slow leak, take it on a highway maybe 60 miles an hour for 15-20 minutes. Now this system has a big advantage because, as my father told me years ago, don't think just because you find one leak that's it. This will check for every leak in the engine oil system. You might have more than one leak. Oil mixes all over the place when it leaks, and it's always going to drip at the bottom. So this will find the source. It's like a waterfall. You see where the dye's coming and you follow it up to the end point, then you know that's where it's coming from. And since you can put this dye in any petroleum base, you can use it in the engine oil, transmission oil, power steering system, differentials, anything that has petroleum in it. You don't use it in the brake system, that's different. Don't put it in the brake system, but all the other oils, it can find a leak. You got a leak in your cooling system. You can't use this dye because it's not made for cooling systems, but there's also a dye that you can put in your cooling system. You got a hard to find leak, you put it in, use the same yellow glasses, the same UV lamp, you just put a different dye in it. You just buy that separately. So let's start at the bottom and work our way up because he said it was dripping on the ground. We're going to use this UV light. We're going to look all over the place. And unfortunately, this big shield in the bottom's in the way, so we got to take that crapper off. So we'll unbolt this splash plate. Off it goes. Now we can see better. Now a lot of it's dry, but when we get to the very back of the engine, you can see there's dye on the back between the engine and where it bolts to the front of the transmission. Well, it's hard to see from the other side, so we're going to check it from the back side. Now, as you can see right there, there's the dye coming out. It's coming out between the engine and the transmission and dripping down here. And we'll take another shot just so you can see it really well. You can see it now. There's the dye coming out. Little blotch right there. You can see. Take the light away. You don't see it. Put the light on. There's where the leak's coming from. Now, I personally think the owner's getting a little bit carried away. This vehicle has almost 400,000 miles on it. It still hasn't even dripped in the driveway under here for me. And on this design, you only have two physical choices. You either pull the engine out to get to the rear main seal of the engine, which is a gigantic job, or you have to pull the transmission off, which is also a large job, but it's smaller than pulling the engine. With almost 400,000 miles on this baby, it's not worth doing. It's not even reaching the ground now. They're all gonna seep some as they age. But since the owner doesn't like the drip, which hasn't dripped here and it's been sitting there for 3 days, so it's no big deal, I'm gonna put some of this AT205 reseal. You just pour it into the engine oil, then drive it around, and after about generally 200 to 250 miles, it's rejuvenated the rubber, and if there's still enough left, mind you, this thing has almost 400,000 miles, it can stop the dripping. Now, the dripping is so low on this to begin with. Like I say, I parked this thing 3 days right here, and you can see there's no oil stains here from it. There's no fresh oil stains. It's been sitting for 3 days. I drove it on a highway for 60 miles going 70 miles an hour. And still, it's not even dripping in the driveway. It does have, you can see it a little bit seeping out. It's called the rear main seal of the engine. But I mean 400,000 miles. This age, and it's not even dripping. I would personally say, if this doesn't fix it, live with it. And if it does, what you do is every time you change your engine oil, you put another bottle of this that keeps the seal rejuvenated. Because when you change your engine oil, all of this is gone. It's a polymer. It doesn't hurt anything. It looks like water. It's completely clear. And it does do a very good job as long as it's in the system. So at least now you know how to find any kind of oil leak on your vehicle. Whether you're going to go through the trouble of fixing it on an old vehicle that doesn't even drip to the ground, that's up to you. But at least with UV dye and a UV lamp and yellow sunglasses, you'll be able to figure out any oil leak that your car has. And here's some bonus questions and answers. See it Norton 171 says, which Ford Escape is better? A 2013 EcoBoost for $7,000 or 2012 four-cylinder non-eco for $4,900? Both have about 150,000 miles. Get the 2012 non-EcoBoost. They both got the same mileage on it. They're the same price. The EcoBoost one has a turbocharger and GDI fuel injection. It's going to wear that engine out fast. That engine might be on its last leg with 150,000 miles. The one that doesn't have the EcoBoost, hey, those things can last a lot longer. And of course, they've been treated better probably too, because EcoBoost, you floor it, the turbocharger rams more air in the engine, makes it rev higher. Definitely get the non-EcoBoost one. I wouldn't even think about buying a used EcoBoost Ford with one of those tiny little four-cylinder engines that had 150,000 miles on it. It's probably on its last legs. Wooden Bits says, I've been flushing out my cooling system with the intention of using green coolant instead of Dex Cool. I ran water. Is it all right if I go ahead and put it in, or do I need it flushed out by a mechanic? Back in the day, 20-something years ago, Dex Cool was made incorrectly and it would corrode systems. I had customers with cars that had 15,000 miles and they were corroded. It didn't need to be changed by then. And so obviously there was a problem. But that was a long time ago. They made it fine for 15 years or more. It doesn't cause any problems anymore. But if you don't like it, flush it out. You can do it yourself. Get a hose. Take the thermostat out. Then it's easier. Then you can just use a hose and flush everything out. But don't use the green coolant. That's old-fashioned coolant. Use modern, long-life coolant. Any of them, Prestone, whatever. Go to Walmart, buy the long life coolant. It says long life coolant for new cars. It's backwards compatible as long as you get rid of all the old stuff, and it lasts longer. Let's say you want to put Toyota pink coolant in, that's one of the best. That goes 7 years or 150,000 miles. Use that. Don't use the green stuff. The green stuff you got to change every 3 years. It's old-fashioned. You want to use the new stuff, and it's backwards compatible, so you can use it as long as you get all that stuff out. And if you do take your thermostat out, then you can just get a hose, put it in there, and you can flush everything out and get it all out, and you don't have to worry about it. JLV says, I got an 05 Honda Accord, 2.4 liter, with idle like crap, and I put my scan tool on, it had P0506, so I took the idle air control off, which is hiding under the throttle body. It was a real job. It was all full of crap, and I used throttle body cleaner, now idle's perfect. That just shows you there are a lot of things you can fix on your own. If you took that to most mechanics with that code, they'll say you need a new idle control valve. You can't buy one for a Honda. You'd have to buy the whole throttle assembly for a small fortune. So instead of spending all that money, $7 can of spray cleaner and you fix it yourself. And that's why I make these videos, so people can do this, share all this information. So if you've got one, hey, learn how to do it. Watch my videos. Watch other people's videos. If it's a car I haven't worked on yet, somebody else certainly has, and I'll have a video out there showing you where it is, how to clean it. You can fix things yourself and save a whole bunch of money with just a little knowledge. You don't need all that much knowledge. Here's a hilarious one. Italy wants to exempt Lamborghini and Ferrari from their future gasoline engine ban. They're all saying, well, we're not going to sell gasoline engines by such a year, la, 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 la. They want to ban Lamborghini and Ferrari, their image cars, you know, that are absolute gas hogs. They think, well, that's our image of Italy. We don't want to get rid of our fancy, exotic, outrageously expensive cars. The ultra-rich can not go by the rules. I mean, we already know that they get away with murder half the time. They don't want to be covered by the rest of the rules everybody else has. As their chief technology officer, Reggiani, said, I believe it's fundamental for Lamborghini to continue to use a V12 engine. The rest of the world gave up with that a long time ago. They put out a lot of power, they pollute more, they're not that efficient, but the Italians are saying that they want to phase out combustion engines by 2035. Okay, now that's a long time from now, right? 14 years from now, who knows what's actually going to happen? And they're already saying, well, we got to exempt Lamborghini and Ferrari from that 2035 exemption. People are thinking a little too far ahead now. It really doesn't matter that much worldwide. Okay, last year, Ferrari sold 9,100 vehicles. This is a spit in the bucket. And Lamborghini, they sold 7,400 vehicles. We're not talking about that many cars. It's more a symbolic gesture than anything else. But they want to exempt the fancy, expensive cars for the ultra-rich because they want to keep their image up. I just find it humorous that they're already worried about that. That small amount of cars they're selling anyways doesn't mean anything. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, Remember to ring that bell.